A missed hazard doesn't just mean a slap on the wrist or a compliance fine. No, it costs lives, it stops production dead in its tracks, and it can completely ruin an organization's reputation overnight. Welcome to The Explainer. I spent over 15 years on the ground as an EHS manager, and let me tell you firsthand, identifying hazards before they explode into incidents is the absolute foundation of everything we do. Today, we're unpacking the best hazard identification tools that every safety professional, site supervisor, and EHS manager absolutely needs to master. We're going to give you the exact proactive safety tools you need to predict and prevent your next big incident. Let's kick things off with a pretty hard truth. If your safety program relies entirely on reactive reporting, waiting for an injury or a near miss to happen before you actually change something, you are already way behind. The modern industrial site is incredibly complex, right? We have to catch everything from obvious physical dangers like combustible dust to those hidden insidious risks like worker fatigue. So our hazard identification methods absolutely have to evolve, from static clipboards to dynamic predictive systems. To help us get there, we're going to run through what I call the tiered toolbox. We'll start with the 5-step safety process, move into frontline tools, then talk about evaluating risk, dive into advanced tools, and finally look at the future with AI integration. Section 1. The foundation, the 5-step safety process. This framework right here is the absolute bedrock. It's heavily pushed by international safety bodies like the HSC and OSHA, and it breaks down into 5 really straightforward steps. Step 1, you identify hazards by actually getting out there and walking the workplace. Step 2, decide exactly who might be harmed. And hey, don't forget vulnerable groups like young workers or temporary contractors. Step 3, evaluate the risks and pick your precautions using the hierarchy of controls. Step 4, record your significant findings so you have proof of compliance and a solid training baseline. And step 5, routinely review and update that assessment. The big takeaway here, your assessment has to be suitable and sufficient. It doesn't need to be flawless, but it absolutely requires active consultation with the workers actually turning the wrenches, because they know the hazards best. Moving right along to Section 2, Frontline Tools, JSA, and FLRA. Stepping down to the operational level, let's look at the practical tools your field workers are using every single day. First up is the Job Safety Analysis, or JSA. This is a highly planned, systematic assessment. You take a specific task, chop it up into individual, sequential steps, and then lock down hazards and controls for every single movement. Contrast that with the field-level risk assessment, which you probably know as a Take 5 safety check. This one is totally dynamic. It's done right there on site right before the work starts, specifically to catch changing environmental factors, like a sudden downpour or a new construction crew working overhead. You need the JSA to set the baseline safe method, but you absolutely need that Take 5 safety check to deal with the real-world reality of the site on any given Tuesday. What's really wild is the sheer impact a proper job safety analysis, JSA, can actually have. In high-hazard environments, these things are a literal game changer. Research looking at scheduled operations in steel manufacturing showed that JSAs hit an incredible 97.5% hazard detection success rate. But there's a catch here. You only get that kind of insane accuracy when you lean heavily on the intimate knowledge of your frontline workers. You've got to observe them, spot the procedural quirks, and build those controls together. Alongside your JSAs, structured hazard assessment checklists are your frontline defense during those routine walkthroughs. Think about a standard OSHA checklist for a general work environment. It gets super specific. It doesn't just lazily say, look for fire hazards. It actively prompts you to check if work surfaces are dry, to stop slips, or if combustible dust is being routinely cleaned off overhead pipes. Checklists basically force consistency, making sure you don't miss the glaringly obvious stuff while you're busy hunting for complex risks. All right, Section 3, Evaluating Risk, the Matrix. So, you've identified the hazards on the front line. Now what? How do you actually evaluate and prioritize them? Enter the Risk Assessment Matrix. We're combining likelihood, so the probability of an event happening, with severity, the actual consequence if it does happen. If a scenario is very likely to cause a fatality, well, that's a critical risk. The required action there isn't handing out extra gloves. It's an immediate shutdown or a complete system redesign. You use this matrix to explicitly dictate how you deploy the hierarchy of controls. You always aim to eliminate the hazard first, substitute it second, use engineering controls third, and only ever rely on PPE as your absolute last resort. Next up, Section 4, Advanced Tools, Process Safety, and Critical Risk.
But what happens when you're dealing with massive, complex industrial setups, heavy process engineering, chemical plants, that sort of thing? Well, the heavyweight champion here is HAZOP, the Hazard and Operability Study. This is not just a casual walkthrough. This is an intense, systematic technique where engineering teams investigate discrete nodes or specific sections in a process piping system. They apply specific guide words like no, more, less, or reverse to parameters like flow or temperature. So they'll ask, what exactly happens if there is more pressure in node A? It forces the whole team to uncover hidden system-level vulnerabilities that your standard checklist would just completely miss. Choosing the right advanced tool is highly strategic. HAZOP is perfect for the early conceptual design phase to cast a really wide net. HAZOP, as we just covered, is for the nitty-gritty, detailed engineering of system interactions. Then you've got FMEA, failure modes and effects analysis, which zeroes in on specific hardware and component failures. And finally, SWIFT, which is awesome for flexible, rapid-fire scenario brainstorming during operational reviews. A bulletproof safety program blends these risk assessment tools to cover literally all your bases. When it comes time to communicate these critical risks to the broader team, Bowtie Analysis is absolutely phenomenal. Picture it visually. It merges a fault tree on one side, mapping out all the root causes that could trigger an event, with an event tree on the other side, mapping out all the disastrous consequences. Right in the center is your top event, or the hazard. And along those pathways, you literally map out your critical safety barriers. It creates this incredibly visual, easy-to-digest framework that connects cause to consequence. It is hands down the best tool for explaining critical risk controls to the guys in the field and the executives in the boardroom. Finally, Section 5, the future, AI and IoT integration. We are stepping into a totally new era where traditional hazard identification methodologies are colliding with real-time machine intelligence. Think about a hybrid AI-IoT system architecture. You've got wearable IoT sensors actively monitoring a worker's heart rate, the toxic gases around them, and extreme heat. All that data gets fed to a local edge processor for instant alerts, like literally stopping a worker from stepping into a gas-filled confined space. At the exact same time, that data is pushed up to the AI cloud layer, where machine learning algorithms run predictive models to spot long-term hazard trends before something actually breaks. And the hard data proving this tech works is already here. Studies looking at industrial IoT datasets are showing an average hazard detection accuracy of 96%. Even better, by integrating AI, they've reduced false alarm rates by 18% compared to those old, annoying threshold-based alarms. It empowers incredibly proactive, real-time safety interventions. But, and this is a massive but, while AI gives us crazy speed and consistency, seasoned human expertise is still non-negotiable. The AI only knows what we train it on. We still need human intuition to evaluate complex, novel risks and keep the safety culture alive. Which brings us to a final, pretty provocative thought. As you're implementing these risk assessment tools, you've got to ask yourself, is your safety program just desperately trying to prevent failures, or are you actively building an operation that knows how to fail safely? That right there is the core of resilience engineering. We don't want to just endlessly chase OSHA compliance. We want to use our JSAs, our HAZOPs, and our Bowtie analyses to actually understand the health of our safety barriers and build genuine operational resilience. Because at the end of the day, safety isn't a clipboard checklist, it's a dynamic strategy that keeps the business running and makes sure everyone goes home alive. Like, share, and subscribe to HSE's study for more high-impact safety insights. Keep identifying those hazards, stay proactive, and stay safe out there.